The Hawai'i Sports Radio Network on 95.1 FM and AM 760 presents Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani.
Good morning, beautiful people. Let's wake up in the den. Ku'ule Agbayani, Paul Brecht. Happy Aloha Friday! Happy Rainbow Wahine Volleyball Day. Happy Hawaii Football Eve. Oh my goodness, what a weekend. We are back, people. What a time. And feel good vibes. By the way, also feel good vibes. Rainbow Wahine Soccer. Don't want to forget about them getting a big win last night, beating Sacramento State 3-1. So continuing their goal scoring from Sunday's high scoring game until yesterday, notching their first win of the season. So shout out to Coach Bud and co and the Rainbow Wahine for getting that win. And then tonight we have Rainbow Wahine Volleyball, the other really popular sport here in Hawaii that we know, returns to action. Coach Robin Amo and her squad ready to go. And football, of course, that we've been talking about all week. And we'll continue to talk about more football coming up on the show. We will actually hear from head coach Timmy Chang as he joined our VSiN friends yesterday. I was kind of like surprised. I was like, whoa, what? So that was pretty cool on VSiN Primetime. Our friends Tim Murray and Sean King. You can hear their show right here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network via the Vegas Sports Information Network from noon to 3, Monday through Friday. But head coach Timmy Chang joined them yesterday to chat about the game coming up. So we will play a good portion of that interview coming up on the show. Also on the show, we will talk about Max Holloway. He returns to the Octagon tomorrow. Well, actually, he returns to the Octagon in like less than 24 hours. So the fight is out at Singapore. So for all of my MMA fans, or including, of course, my Max Holloway fans that I know a lot of Hawaii people will just watch Max fight. So take this in. Tomorrow's fight is 2 o'clock in the morning. So make sure you guys tell your friends. Yes, exactly, Paul. So we will be we'll covering football today. And then we have to wake up really, really early. I have to set my alarm. Luckily, he is, and we'll give you more of the details and kind of preview the fight as he takes on the Korean Zombie that they headline fight night. Fortunately, it's free. It's on, free-ish. It's on ESPN Plus. So if you guys already have ESPN Plus, you can watch it. So he takes on the Korean Zombie. The main card starts at 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. So just keep that in mind. It's an early fight. So if you guys want to watch it, he'll probably go into the Octagon or get close, or maybe around 3:30. Like, I'm gonna set my alarm for 3:30. I've done it before. I woke up for one championship in Singapore when Angela Lee was fighting. So like I said, I've done it. I have no problem. Luckily, there's enough time where Max will fight, and then I can go to sleep and then wake up again and get ready for football. So there's enough time in between there. But for all of my MMA fans, I'm just letting you know. I'm saying it again because I don't want everyone to wake up and be like, oh, I thought Max was fighting later today. He fights, like, that's
he
how
fights later today,
yeah,
essentially.
That's how we're starting our day, everyone. We're starting our Saturday, getting ready to rock and roll and go to battle. Max Holloway waking up bright and early around 3:30 a.m. tomorrow, Saturday morning. Max Holloway highlighting ESPN Fight Night on ESPN Plus, taking on the Korean Zombie. But we'll hear a little snippet from Max and then talk about the fight coming up a little later in the show. And again, stick around for Coach Timmy Chang. You'll hear from him as he joined our VSiN friends. But man, there's a lot going on. And our Clopen wasn't that bad. Paul?
So that's actually where I was going to go was, that 2 a.m., 3:30 a.m. wake-up call would be far, 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 far worse if our Clopen wasn't as smooth as it went these past 12-ish hours or so. We got out at a nice time last night after the Kaimuki Wailua game, which ended up being a nice contest despite some rain. But nonetheless, a good time come in today. We're both chipper, cheery per usual. I mean, it's Aloha Friday. How can't you be? And then my thought, you also touched on it. I was worried about the UH football game, but that's not till later in the day. Plenty of time to take a quick nap or something in the meantime. And then, like you said, we're in full swing now. It's sports season. It's Hawaii sports season. I love it. It's nothing really quite better.
Oh, my goodness. Like, just thinking about it, I'm like, everything's happening so fast all at once. So, again, like how we mentioned last night, we were out just up the road at Farrington High School covering the Wailua Kaimuki game, a Division II matchup, and it ended up being pretty interesting. High scoring, Kaimuki coming up on top 36-20. You can, if you missed that game and you want to listen to a little bit of high school football, maybe, download, hit up your podcast. We will have that on hawaiisportsradio.com or wherever you get most podcasts a little bit later in the afternoon. And then tonight we were bringing you more high school football on this Aloha Friday. So you can tune in to Castle taking on Kailua. We will be out at Castle High School. Now, technically Kailua is listed as the home team, but they are playing at Castle. So we will be out at Castle. Game time is around 7:30. This one is dependent on the JV game. Unlike yesterday, there was no JV, so we started at 7 o'clock, actually a little earlier than 7 o'clock, but tonight's game will be around 7:30. Jump on air around 7:20 p.m. Kyle Galdera and Chaz Mihara. Welcome back, Chaz. His first game of the sports season will be on the call to bring you OIA football. And again, as always, mahalo to Hawaii Pacific Health and DSE Hawaii for their continued support of OIA sports and supporting the kids on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. So be sure to tune in for that. Or if you guys want to keep up with our schedule, check it out online. Go to hawaiisportsradio.com and click on the OIA Sports tab. That's going to be your one-stop shop. You can get like the photos, the broadcasts, or the replays that we call them, our OIA replays. You can get a lot of Paul's fabulous recaps and all the other galleries going on. So yeah, be sure you guys check that out at hawaiisportsradio.com as we are rocking and a rolling. It's week 0, baby. Week 0 is here in college football. Of course, highlighted by our home team, University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors taking on the Vanderbilt Commodores. And so let's get it started now, talking a little bit about UH football. We've been speaking about it, I feel like, I would say ad nauseum, but you can never get nauseous over speaking about too much like Hawaii football. I'm never
sick of Hawaii football, and neither are the beautiful people, it seems. And vibes are high. Excitement is there as the run and shoot, the switch to the run and shoot has officially come to the program once again. Obviously a throwback to the golden era of this program, and there's a lot of talent on this team. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly it's able to mesh. I wrote it in my preview for this matchup. These two programs are actually very similar if you take a peek at it because obviously you have two head coaches who are both alum of their programs, and then two head coaches who are still pretty young. Clark Lee, the Vanderbilt head coach, he's only in his 3rd season, but they doubled their win total last year, the Commodores did, and he talked a bit about how that's a big reason why Vanderbilt has not been and cannot take Hawaii very lightly going into this week, because they just saw on their own end how big 1 year can be in terms of making a difference for a program and just personnel and install.
And tell everyone a little bit more about, what else they can expect from Reddit without giving away too much, because we want the beautiful people to go check it out online at hawaiisportsradio.com. Click on the local sports tab. If you're logging in or if you go to our website on your mobile phone, you should see the kind of the write-up right there. But if not, you always click on the local sports tab and you can get all of the cool stories, galleries, and more. But give everyone a little preview of your preview.
So you're right. I don't want to give away too much because I always want you to go read it. That's the whole point of me writing it, I suppose. But I tried to give as much as I could so people are prepared. So a tale of the tape from last year, just a quick kind of recap of what happened in the first game of the Timmy Chang era and how that loss came to be. The difference in personnel this year between Vanderbilt's offense and defense a little bit. The personnel difference for Hawaii and how their quarterback situation wasn't as settled as it was going into this season. Then I give you 6 players to watch, 4 from Hawaii, 2 from Vanderbilt, and then hit you with a few final thoughts, keys to the game, matchups, and things to keep an eye on going forward before giving my final little thoughts on what I think will end up happening. I include the spread in there as well, just for all of our friends who are interested in
purposes.
that. You know. But yeah, that's the gist of about 2,600 words of just content about our favorite team, or our favorite football team, I should say, here in Hawaii.
And there you guys go. So be sure to go check it out online at hawaiisportsradio.com. The full preview from Paul Brecht. And the first of many. I mean, we're getting excited for tomorrow. And so last night covering high school football, and I was taking photos on the sideline, and Kyle Chinen from Hawaii News Now was there as well. And we kind of just started talking about UH a little bit. I know they cover a lot of high school because I asked him, at least you have time to watch the first game tomorrow before you have to head out on Saturday night to go, get all the highlights from the prep football that's going on. He's like, yeah, I know. I probably have to just stop watching maybe at like around 3:30, 4 o'clock to head out. I was like, oh, that's a good amount of time. And then I was like telling him, I was like, I'm so ready just to at least have a game that we can finally know what is happening, right? Because we've kind of just been stuck in this limbo just because I firmly believe as well that the change, not only in personnel, but just we talk about this all the time, the culture, Braden Shager being QB1, the defense, getting Cam Stone, all this kind of and the most we can do is just give our best educated guess on what to expect from this team. But we really don't know.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, because we've never seen this squad, Timmy Chang and company having a full off season to recruit and to prepare. We have not seen that. So, I mean, obviously we want to try to keep it as positive as possible. That's the point. As we are still going in through this rebuilding phase, like we mentioned, year 3 is usually when you can expect, all right, this is when we need to start seeing the turnaround. Whatever happens this year is still going to be a bonus. Paul and I still think it is going to be a little bit over that win total it started at 3.5. Now it's at 4. So it'll be around there. But still, nonetheless, we can't firmly make an completely educated prediction or preview of how this team is going to fare against anyone they play, because we haven't seen, not only have we not seen the Rainbow Warriors play, of course, but we haven't seen this new look Vanderbilt either. So it's going to be fun to finally just watch this game and know what to expect, because it also feels like, there's practices that we're not invited to throughout the spring and the fall. So there's a lot that we don't know as media as well. And I'm sure Timmy Chang likes it that way. He's not going to show his hand, of course. He knows he's respecting the other coach on the other side to plan for whatever. Yeah, okay, you guys want to plan for the run and shoot. We're going to tell you we're going to do the run and shoot. However, don't be surprised if we throw a little sprinkle of different things in there in the traditional run and shoot. So that's what I'm excited for. I believe Coach Timmy Chang and his will to win and how much he wants to win. And of course, not only him, but of course the coaching staff and the players. But it all starts from your leader, right? So it all starts from Timmy. And I feel like he's genuine when he's so focused this season on winning and wanting to give the fans what they've been yearning for all, how it feels like years at this point. I'm not taking anything from Coach Rolo, because I know we were starting to be on the up when Coach Rolo was here, and then he took a higher paying job, and as we know, the rest is history. But I know Timmy Chang he has that, and he has kind of that chip on his shoulder. He's succeeded here as a quarterback. He's going to want to succeed here as a coach, and he's taking it more serious than I can even describe to you guys. So it's something to look forward to.
I think back to our conversation, we were so lucky to have so many of the different coaching staff members in the den with us to talk about not just their journeys, but also a little bit how they came across Timmy Chang, how they've been able to interact with him throughout the years. And I think of Coach Chef and him talking about Killer Timmy, that side of him.
Exactly.
And we've seen that at a couple of points during this training camp. But you're right. At some point, you do need to see it against an actual other team. It's why in the NFL you see those preseason games. It's why you play the season and you don't just practice against yourself the entire time. It's very important that, you can have as great a practice as you want, but when rubber hits the road, how will the Bows look against another program? This week is our first opportunity to see it, and I'm, like you said, incredibly excited to just see the progress from year 1 to year 2, and just, can we get year 3 results a little bit early? That's the question, right?
Yes, please. Be like some of the teams, like the Cubs. They peaked a year early before they won the World Series. So I'm just saying, but it'll be fun to see. And then, last point on that, where you talk about playing against yourself, because I think it was you that we were casually talking about it before the high school game yesterday about one of their top receivers, right, for Vanderbilt.
Will Shepherd.
Yeah, and how people are like, oh, he's been just dominating at camp. And I was like, yeah, but you're playing against your own guys, so you can't really even say how dominant someone's going to be. He hasn't played against, you predict Verdell Edwards will likely be matched up against him, and he hasn't played against Verdell. He hasn't faced anyone like Cam Stone, so however it matches up, we just don't know what to expect, but I'm so excited. And when we come back, we got to step aside, but when we come back, you will hear from head coach Timmy Chang, and as he joined our friends over at VSiN, Tim Murray and Sean King yesterday. So we'll play that for you when we come back on Wake Up in the Den.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on this Aloha Friday / Game Friday. Week 0, baby, in college football. Quite a few games coming up tomorrow. We will talk about that a little later in the show. But first, we want to stick to our number 1 football team here in the islands, the Rainbow Warriors. So head coach Timmy Chang joined our friends at VSiN yesterday on VSiN Primetime with Tim Murray and Sean King, which you guys can hear on Hawai'i Sports Radio Network from noon to 3 every single day, Monday through Friday. So it's your afternoon show. So it's going to be a fun time. But here it starts off with basically Sean King asking about the difference between last year's squad, how they had lost their number 1 back in Dedrick Parson, lost Zion Bowens to graduation. So how Sean King is just asking Coach Timmy on what he expects out of his new players. So here is that interview right here.
As you get ready, for the first game of the season, a SEC opponent, let's start with your team. What young players do you have you think are ready to fill in that production that exited?
Well, that's a good question, Sean. From the first game being an SEC opponent, Vanderbilt coming to our place, not and taking over the program, not knowing what we had, watching the film again, it was a good starting point to see, engage, and understand where we need to get to. I'm excited about this game, and then we got some exciting guys. Dedrick Parsons' running back mate was Tylen Hides, who played running back, and we feel like he's a dynamic player. Gained maybe 600 to 800 yards all-purpose last year playing behind Dedrick. I have a young group of receivers that I'm really excited about, a quarterback that's coming back. Defense, we retooled in that area, spent a lot of scholarships to get better in the trenches as well as on the perimeter. A lot of leadership on that side of the ball. And so, year 1, year 2 should be a big jump. And I'm excited to see where we're at. Like you said, on the road, SEC opponent, Vanderbilt, well-coached team and Coach Leah. And I just feel like it's a good starting point to see where we're at, and then we go home next week on a short week against Stanford. And so, we're getting tested right out the gate, and that's the way I kind of want it. I want to see where we're at. I want to see where we can get better and what we have to improve on. And then my young group of guys, I just lose 2 starters on offense after this year, so I got a young group, but I got an exciting group. I'm excited about these guys to see what they can do.
And quarterback Braden Shager finished last year versus UNLV and San Jose State. End of the year, 4 touchdowns, no picks. How has he improved? That was a great way to finish the season. You can see the growth. Talk to me about where he was and where he is now.
Yeah, he's getting more comfortable. I think we earlier in the year last year, the little musical chairs in the quarterback room. We settled on Braden. He's coming into his own. Had a great off season. I see him getting better and understanding the game a little more every day, which tells me that he's headed in the right direction. When the bullets fly, as you know, Sean, when the bullets start flying, you're going to get to really see what a quarterback can do. And I'm excited about that. I think that with the run and shoot offense and what we're about to do and throwing the ball down around the field, down the field, horizontally, you need a quarterback, and Braden's the guy. And so I'm excited about that.
We're talking to the head coach of Hawaii, of course, former Hawaii quarterback Timmy Chang, as Hawaii gets ready to start their season Saturday night, SEC Network against Vanderbilt. It'll be at 7:30 Eastern. Coach, down the stretch, I know a couple victories ultimately came your way, but a lot of games were pretty closely contested. So I know it was an unusual circumstance for you to get this job last offseason, so it certainly had to have been kind of a bumpy ride into the year, but to end the year with, a close loss to Utah State, who made it to a bowl, a close loss to Wyoming, who also made it to a bowl game, and a handful of other games that were pretty closely contested. I know we always say there's no such thing as moral victories, which I think is totally fair, but when you're building a young team, were you happy with how last season ultimately concluded with a bunch of close games?
Yeah, I think watching the Vanderbilt game, it really put in perspective of where we're at as a football team. I think our most embarrassing loss was New Mexico State, and a bye week couldn't have come at a better time. We had one of them coming to the Lord Jesus kind of talk, and really, from that point on, I've seen a change in our team and how they played and how tough they played. I would say this: I don't think last year with all the departures and inheriting this job and all the guys that left and entered the transfer portal, a lot of starters playing with young guys. I would say this: as we played better, and you guys know this, that the game's going to come down to 1 or 2 possessions and plays. So we didn't win those plays, and really we didn't have enough bullets in the chamber. We didn't have enough guys that I thought that we needed to compete with. And so we went out and recruited, we retooled. We're sharpening our details, we're sharpening our fundamentals and technique. And I'm really, really excited to see where these guys are at right now. And it'll give me a good gauge on where we have to go for the next 13 games. But to say it, these guys played with heart. They represented the state and the Warrior way. Now, putting talent on that field and as coaches putting those guys in the right position, that's what matters, and them going out there and executing. I really can't wait to see what they're going to do this Saturday.
Year 2 is about to kick off for you guys. Are you still building the program? You're still creating a foundation that's going to create sustained success. What does success for you look like this year? When this year is all said and done, if this year's Hawaii team accomplished this, Coach Chang, this was a good year.
Yeah, we do have a bowl game in Hawaii every year. Usually it was played on the 25th. I think it was the 24th, maybe the 23rd, as I'm hearing this year. I would love to play in that bowl game. I would love to have enough wins to say that we play in the bowl game. But, I would tell my guys that, we play for about 6 trophies, right? Wyoming, Air Force, San Jose, Vegas, as well as the conference championships. We have an exciting season ahead of us because we play all these teams, and I want to win all those trophies. And if we could go to a Mountain West championship, that would be unbelievable. I think we're picked maybe last by people, and I pay attention. We're 17.5, and the line's moving at 18, and back and forth as it goes down in your guys' studio, as well as 3.5 wins. This year, I hear all those things, and I like that. I like hearing them, and I tell the guys, man, this is where they picking you at. This is what they think of us as a team, and so it fires my guys up, and my guys don't believe that. They believe they're a good team, and they got to go out there and prove it every play.
Well, we love to hear that,
Great
and we
stuff.
always
Good luck,
love
Coach.
the late-night games, Coach. Every person out there loves the late-night Hawaii games, and we'll be watching this Saturday and all season. We appreciate the time.
Oh, I can't play enough 6 o'clock Hawaii time games. Love talking to you guys, man, and I can't wait to see you guys in Vegas.
There he is, Timmy Chang, head coach of Hawaii.
The Rainbow Warriors. I like it. I smell upset.
I tell the guys the point spread, the win total. Ooh,
It's
I love it.
motivational,
I
man.
love
It's
it.
motivational.
There it is. Timmy Chang, head coach of the Rainbow Warriors.
I had to play out that ending part where they were, because Paul and I always talk about, like, we just give our opinions on the lines and everything, but we are by no means, like, we do not suggest you follow anything that we say when it comes to picking. But, our guys at VSiN, I mean, they live out in Vegas. This is kind of, and the way that the station, the point of that station, the Vegas Stats and Information Network, they kind of study these things and the lines and everything. So it was cool that that was Tim Murray and Sean King from VSiN Primetime, which you can hear on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network from noon to 3, Monday through Friday, as they spoke to head coach Timmy Chang. But I thought it was funny that Timmy did bring up how, I see the lines, I see the spread, and I see the win total of the 3.5 at your guys' place. And then it ended with Tim and Sean being like, you know what? I like it. The over the win total and with the spread, I smell upset. So I don't know if they were kind of a homer because they are friends of Hawaii, but I like it.
I like it too. It's important to have, even so, just good vibes around your program. And also, I like that from Coach Timmy Chang, because I think sometimes we do fall into this lull where we're like, teams don't hear what the media say. Like, they're like, whatever. They're in their own world. Like, the media talks directly to the fans more than anything. No. These guys are aware of what's said about them. These guys are aware where the lines are, and they won't say anything crazy, per se. I was surprised to even hear Timmy mention it in the first place. But I like it a lot, because that means... there is that chip on the shoulder. That means they do feel a bit disrespected. To bring up the exact number as well, it very much so shows that it struck a chord within the program where it's like, hey, we're not getting any respect yet, and let's change that. I'm excited to see Saturday.
And I love it. Yeah, you're right, because it's like, he's totally our football coach. Hawaii people, you know what I mean? We know. He's totally our football coach. The fact that he didn't try to do the cookie cutter. Because you're right, Paul. That's so true. Like say if a coach gets asked about, like, you're the underdog by this many points, or people only expect you to, like, win this many. Usually they're like, we don't pay attention to that stuff. We're just focused on blah, 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 blah. But the fact
outside noise.
The fact that Timmy, straight up was like, I see it. I see the win total. Like, all right, that's extra motivation. So he's totally our coach. That's just hilarious. That makes me chuckle, because only a Hawaii guy of a head, like, D1 program would totally just be like, I see it.
And unless you're Iowa, right?
Yeah, Iowa should probably stay away from ever talking about that kind of stuff. Let's be honest. But in Hawaii, it's okay. And I love how Tim Murray kind of at the very end there said, like, everybody out there loves the late game. So obviously tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Hawaii time game. It's still kind of in the middle of the day for our friends on the East Coast. But usually when we play the home games, it's always fun for all of the people, especially in New York and New Jersey, that, bet the most amount of money in the country.
Yeah.
So they definitely are looking forward to the Hawaii home games, giving them a little bit either to win a little extra or to chase a little more. So I think that's probably what everyone not everyone, but the fun group of everyone looks forward to when it comes to college football season and the Hawaii game.
It's about time we've made it to college football season, and I'll be chatting with those East Coast folks later. Just let them know how great our Bows are here in Hawaii.
Ooh, that's right. Paul Breck's going to do his first hit as, like, one of our media members / experts of the Rainbow Warrior football team. But again, just to remind everybody, the current spread right now, at least via BetMGM, and I feel like it's pretty universal at the moment, Hawaii is the underdog to Vanderbilt, 17.5 points over under 56, plus 625 on the money line. Vanderbilt is minus 1,000 on the money line as the favorite. So I said it yesterday. I'll keep saying it again. You know what? I'll smell an upset too. Little bit of a sprinkle maybe on the money line just because it's week 0 and why not? It's just one of those things. Like, why not? But no, that game kickoff 1:30 p.m. Hawaii time on the SEC network. So I'm hoping everybody will be out watching that game because it's not a pay-per-view game, so you guys can get it on the SEC network. Some of the other games, of course, we're looking forward to coming up is the USC San Jose State with Chevin Cordero. Ooh, that spread went up. I just looked at it in real time. It was like 30.5. It went up a whole point at 31.5.
Yeah, how are they disrespecting San Jose State that much?
I don't know, but our Kyle Galdera, I asked, he likes to have fun with the lines as well yesterday. And so before we jumped on air, I asked him, I was like, I feel like 30 was too big of a spread because, and Kyle said the same thing I've been telling you guys. I don't know if I trust this USC defense yet. We trust the offense. I trust Caleb Williams like wholeheartedly. I trust USC to put up a lot of points. That over-under total is at 66.5. Woo! But I don't know if that defense can hold up, or we'll see something like Michigan and Hawaii last year where, you know what, they take out Caleb and kind of San Jose State maybe scores a couple of garbage touchdowns at the end to like cover that 31.5. But I'm like, I don't know. This is a little big.
They have the Mountain West preseason offensive player of the year in Chevin Cordero. And maybe that's like, maybe we're a little bit biased. Obviously, we have a bit of connection here in Hawaii to him. But I don't know, like, Maybe USC on both sides of the ball will be as dominant as the spread says. The offense, obviously, very much so expect that to go. We talk about Caleb Williams all the time. You're right, though, and our Kyle Galdera is right. That defense, until proven otherwise, it just doesn't inspire confidence quite yet.
Well, again, just like we'll see with Hawaii, we'll see what happens. Sorry, way up against the clock. I'm so excited. I just like completely passed by the whole just talking about college football being back, baby. But we'll be back on Wake Up in the Den.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Sit back, I'll tell you a story where we were born and raised. Show our thanks and praise.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. Let's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht. As always, shout out to everyone on Maui still going through it. It's going to be a long recovery. We continue to think about all of the people there and all of the heroes working around the clock to try to make the best out of the unfortunate events that occurred. But coming up tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning, a local fighter, Max Holloway, just talking about how he's feeling it. He's feeling it, you guys. And it was something to hear him get really emotional because we're used to Max Holloway. And he's never really been like a smack talker, especially to most opponents. He's actually been very gracious. He's not, unless it's like, I don't know. He's actually really never been. I can't even think. Maybe because even Alexander Volkanovski, he doesn't really talk that much smack. That's just kind of fun. But he does kind of talk a lot. But he's been very subdued this week as he goes in, prepares for his next fight, just because he has a heavy heart for everything that happened over on Maui. But this is what Max had to say when asked about everything that's going on back home, as he is in Singapore right now. But this is Max.
The Hawaii community, they stepped up. The people stepped up. The Hawaiians stepped up. And then, after the Hawaiians stepped up, the world has stepped up. You guys are seeing and everything and people helping. The UFC is helping out with this UFC Loves Hawaii and so on and so on. And it's just It's a tough thing, man. I just shared my story about how some people ended up passing away and then they got the name. So it's just tough, man. Those guys they're the real heroes right now. They're going through it, and my walkout song is gonna be a dedication to them, and they said that we should use bread to solidify those guys that's in the fire and going through it. So I'm actually gonna be using red for the first time in my in my UFC career. I've been using the black, the universal, and I was able to be granted red for this short. So yeah, a lot of things. I always go in there with Hawaii on my back, but feels a little bit heavy right now.
Sorry. Whew. Hold it together. But yeah, that was Max Holloway just after being asked. They do their media scrums throughout the fight week, and you guys can hear it right there. He's emotional. We're all still emotional, and he said it best. He always goes in there, Hawaii on his back, but it feels a little heavy right now. And that one really hit like home. And I can imagine that's how it is for everyone, for all the teams going out there, especially the University of Hawaii teams as well. Just you're used to playing for a state, but it just means different this year. As he mentioned, red. So they talked about in the beginning of this week, Lahaina Luna being one of obviously the main school there, and there's still talk about when they will play, especially some of their football things, I believe, and girls volleyball to come up. But they did mention in the beginning of the week to wear red in solidarity because that's the school colors. So Paul and I are wearing red as well. So it's Aloha Friday. So we are both wearing red. It's our Fashion Friday to show everyone out there that we are still thinking and wanting to show our support for all of those on Maui in Lahaina. And yeah, it's going to be a different fight. Max Holloway taking on the Korean Zombie tomorrow. It's out at Singapore. Now, remember, I said in the beginning of the show, but in case you missed it, the main card, Max Holloway is, of course, the main event against the Korean Zombie. The main card is at 2 a.m. Hawaii time tomorrow morning. So be sure you probably set your alarm. If maybe around 3:30 is when I'm going to set my alarm to wake up and watch the fight, because I just care about seeing Max fight. He said he's going to have that tribute, the walkout song. Usually he walks out to Hawaiian Kickboxer. So I'm going to be prepared to cry like in the beginning. I've never really cried for a walkout song or a walkout in UFC or MMA because you're just getting fired up. But I can only imagine the type of dedication that Max Holloway will have for the people on Maui, and as he said, the real heroes right now that are going through it. So if you guys want to watch it in real time, then again, it's going to be early tomorrow morning, 2 a.m. Hawaii time. The main card starts out in Singapore. Max Holloway and the Korean Zombie. Max looking to improve his 24-7 record, and the Korean Zombie sits at 17-7. To remind everyone, Max is coming off of a unanimous decision win over Arnold Allen back in April of this year, and it still amazes me on the type of career he has. Yes, he has lost 3 times to the current featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski. One of those fights where was a little sus. It could have gone to Max's way, but you know what? That's why you don't let it go to the judges. And then the other 3 losses to early on in his career, when he started off his career at 3-3, and then he went on this incredible win streak and only lost, aside from Alexander Volkanovski, lost to Dustin Poirier for the second time. But Dustin Poirier, when he went up in weight, and just it's different when you go up. It's 10 pounds doesn't seem like much, but in this sport,
it's a lot.
It makes a big difference when you're not used to that size and trying to hit and take down a guy as big as Dustin Poirier. So, but Max, I think I never want to say it's going to be an easy fight, and I'm a huge Korean Zombie fan. I love the Korean Zombie, but I think he is kind of past his fighting prime, and I still think Max at 31 years old is still very much ready to fight, and he's fighting for a bigger purpose, something bigger than he ever fought for, I would say, in his career. And And you could hear it. Like, he is fighting for Hawaii and especially Maui. He does not want to let anybody down, and trying to, just like we've heard Timmy Chang say, you know, trying to give people something to get excited about, even if it's just for a little bit, like even if it's just for 5 minutes, like, you know, just a little bit of,
It's an escape.
yeah, just a little bit of hope and something to cheer for. So we're all obviously behind Max Holloway, Korean Zombie, coming off of a TKO loss back in April of last year to Alexander Volkanovski. That fight went 4 rounds, but it shouldn't have gone. I mean, Herb Dean basically just stopped the fight because he was taking too much damage. Like, he didn't even really get knocked down at the moment. He just got one hit, looked a little wobbly, and it was just like, call it off. So he hasn't been in the octagon for a while. I feel like it's I don't want to say it's an easy fight, but I believe the odds match. Max Holloway is the minus 800 favorite, Korean Zombie at plus 550 on that money line. And yeah, the only thing I'd be concerned about for Max is that Jung has a longer reach at 72 inches to Max's 69 inches. But you know what? Max is just a whole different fighter. So he's a good fighter. He's a better fighter. And he is fighting for something bigger than himself.
He'll find the extra 3 inches plus from the power he gets from Maui, the people behind him and whatnot. I also do hope that he doesn't put too much pressure on himself. Same to our University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. You know, as much as you do want to be that escape for people, it's understandable that you are going through it as well, and not to put too much pressure on them. So obviously thoughts go to him as well, and to our Rainbow Warriors, Rainbow Wahine, who continue to try their best to give that escape to our friends and family over on Maui.
And again, Max Holloway tomorrow morning, 2 a.m. Hawaii time. The main card starts, highlighting or being the main event, Holloway versus the Korean Zombie, UFC Fight Night out in Singapore. So be sure you set your alarms I'm not really bright and early, dark and early for UFC. Start off your Saturday right in time for more than enough time to take a nap and wake up again for Rainbow Warrior football. But there are other events going on, of course. Don't want to forget our Rainbow Wahine volleyball team. So we'll tell you about their matches coming up starting this evening and a little bit more when we come back on Wake Up in the Den.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht. Mahalo for tuning in this and every weekday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. Tonight, we will be out at high school football, bringing you Castle versus Kailua at 7:30-ish p.m. Again, depending on the JV game, but you can expect us to jump on around 7:20 p.m. Kyle Galdera and Chaz Mihara with the call. Be sure to follow Paul on social media, on the Twitter, or ZX, I don't know, whatever it's called.
On
the
social
Twitter,
we used to enjoy.
On the Twitter for the updates. I just like Twitter. The bird is a lot cuter than
I will never stop calling it Twitter.
That's what everyone knows it as. So
disrespectfully, respectfully, whatever you want, but I will not stop calling it Twitter. So if you hear me say Twitter from here on out, that's the X app or whatever it is. That's what Twitter. It is Twitter.
They know what I mean.
You know what? That place still can rock if you just follow us here on Hawaii Sports Radio.
Yes. Follow us at High Sports Radio or any of our individual accounts as well. By the way, speaking of this weekend in Vanderbilt, though, earlier, I was getting like photos of everything going on over there. And I thought Vanderbilt had at least one end zone complete. They only have like sideline seats. And there's like construction equipment all along the end zones, or at least one end zone, and it's just dirt. So, Hawaii, we actually have a full stadium compared to an SEC opponent. And again, I guess that's a good omen. This morning, I woke up, not even kidding you guys, I woke up to a double rainbow. So that has to be a good omen in itself. It was beautiful. Beautiful, like all of you beautiful people, to wake up, look out my window, and I see a double rainbow. It's so beautiful. If you guys saw that video on YouTube, you know what I'm doing. Double rainbow.
That's a real throwback. That's a throwback to my childhood. Like childhood for me.
Yeah.
Double rainbow. But no, oh gosh, what a great day. What a great Aloha Friday. You open it up with a double rainbow. You finish it up with our doubleheader of the weekend for high school sports. And then you get a doubleheader tomorrow with Hawaii-based stuff, or at least UH-based stuff. Plus you got Max fighting. So much fun Hawaii sports stuff coming up this weekend. I love it.
And tonight, though, don't want to forget about our ladies' Rainbow Wahine volleyball season. First serve is tonight as they take on Northwestern. That game at 7 p.m. Hawaii time at the Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center tomorrow. So you can watch football in the day, and then you can head over and support the Rainbow Wahine volleyball team in the evening, 7 p.m. again against Hawaii, or against number 13 San Diego. So a ranked opponent that they were taking on. If you guys want to enjoy some Wahine volleyball, or I guess women's volleyball, because that's not our team, the first match between San Diego, number 13th ranked San Diego, and number 9 ranked Oregon will be at 4:45 p.m. this afternoon, followed by the Hawaii Northwestern game. And again, tomorrow it'll start with Oregon taking on Northwestern, and then Hawaii taking on number 13 ranked San Diego. Sunday, you will have Hawaii taking on number 9 ranked Oregon. So you guys can go out, check that out, the Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center in the Hawaiian Airlines Rainbow Wahine Classic. What a tournament lineup. And as we've been talking about for the football team, knowing what they are capable of now, getting tested by an SEC opponent tomorrow, this will be a good test for the Rainbow Wahine, having to play 2 nationally ranked teams in their opening weekend. So this will be kind of fun to see where our Rainbow Wahine volleyball team stacks up. So if you guys want to go check that out, or you can watch it on Spectrum as well. Tonight, though, if you go out, it is the Spirit of Aloha Friday. So on the UH website, fans are encouraged to wear Aloha attire. So if you're going out there, make sure you celebrate Aloha Friday, wear your Aloha attire. And the first 200 fans will receive a tea leaf courtesy of Watanabe Floral for the season opener. So that's going to be fun with the tea leaf.
That's very cool. I mean, there's going to be so many fun things at UH events this year that you're not going to want to miss out on. Not to mention, all of the teams are pretty good. And when you play good talent, like you said, it seems that all of the programs are on the same page. They're trying to test out early and see where they're at. Rainbow Wahine are definitely going to do that. Luckily, they will have the full force of the Ohana, the full force of the Brotherhood, Sisterhood, all of them behind them going forward, you know?
We'll all come out. I can't guarantee if I'll make it out tomorrow. You know, because Hawaii's going to shock the world, and then it's just going to be a party.
I was going to say, we'll be too busy partying it up post.
I'm not even kidding. I'm just thinking, like, because I'm going to hang out with some of my friends at one of the watering holes, and, like, I'm like, you know what? If Hawaii actually, like, if the football team, let me be specific, if the football team for Hawaii wins and upsets Vanderbilt, like straight up win, we're not talking about spread. As we mentioned it before, Hawaii was very good ATS last season. But if Hawaii straight up wins and beats Vanderbilt tomorrow, like, it's going to be a freaking party tomorrow, like, after the game. So the game will end, like, what, like around 4 p.m. or something. I'm like,
give or take.
I don't know if I'm going to make it to Rainbow Wahine volleyball. I'm just being honest, because I'm going to be like, shots.
Oh my God, yeah. I get it.
Saying, that's how I'm going to be.
But that's how everybody feels. That's how everyone feels when it comes to Rainbow Warrior football being back. And we are, I mean, I don't want to say less than 24 hours because that's a lie. 28 hours, I guess, away from Rainbow Warrior football. How much more excited can you get when you're just sitting here dreaming about the upset that's already signed, sealed, delivered, and on the way for our Bows?
And that's the thing, right? It's possible. And then we're gonna open up next week, Friday, our home opener against Stanford, which, hey, we actually get chance. I'm just saying, at least according to the odds sit at just a touchdown. Stanford only favored by a touchdown, coming over here to Hawaii. First home game of the second year of the Timmy Chang era. So can you imagine if we upset an SEC opponent? I do think they're going to cover, though, for what it's worth. But if we win straight up, and then you come home, and then the fans, like if we win tomorrow, the fans, you should probably buy your tickets in advance before it sells out. Like if there's tickets available, you should buy it for the home game next week, Friday. Remember, Friday, not a Saturday, but Friday. Come out and watch Hawaii and Stanford. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. Vibes are high. Vibes tomorrow could be extremely high or extremely low for me because Aaron Rodgers is playing for the Jets as well. So I've got the Bows. I've got the starters playing for the Jets against the Giants, so that could go catastrophically poorly or well. And, it's going to be a party one way or another, that's for sure.
Party! All right, well, we got to go get the party started. Don't forget, high school football tonight, 7:30 p.m. right here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, Castle and Kailua. Other than that, go out, support Rainbow Wahine Volleyball tonight. Football tomorrow for Paul Brecht. I'm Ku'ulei Agbayani. Mahalo for listening. Bye!
Weekday.